Hey folks, AJaytheCEO here, and in this video, I'm going to be walking you through converting my church's OBS setup to VMix and going through all of the settings so that it looks exactly the same as OBS, except for we're going to be bringing in comments of our viewers. So let's go. Hey folks, AJaytheCEO here. If this is your first time stopping by the channel, thanks for stopping by. And on this channel, we focus on tips, training, strategies, reviews, and builds to help modernize your media ministry. So if you're new here, consider subscribing. And if you like what we're doing here, consider becoming a patron or a YouTube member by clicking one of the links down below. Now, it's no secret that I like OBS. On my Q&As, I use VMix because of some of the other functionality. And I just wanted to walk through the full setup of what we use on OBS every Sunday and show how to migrate it so it works exactly the same. We use a Stream Deck to make it simple. That's the only interface that anybody at my church uses. No one uses OBS directly, so I want this to be just as transparent. I'm gonna keep all the icons and everything the same, and that technically the whole thing could run exactly the same way. So this may be a little long video, but we will have chapters so you can jump to each item. If you're familiar with my OBS bundle, that is what my church uses on the layout, and we're going to be migrating that over. Now we're going to be using, at my church, I got a 30-day trial of VMix. So that is what we're going to use. This is set up that since I'm going to be in a media booth tomorrow, I'm actually going to run VMix instead of OBS and just see if anybody notices, especially bringing up the comments and everything like that. So I want to copy everything in the same flow that we had with OBS. We want to be able to do the exact same thing. So let me go ahead and remote in to my church's live stream system and we'll get started. Alrighty, we are logged in here to the church's stuff. Let's go ahead and get here and let's do a quick walkthrough of exactly how we have everything. Let me bring up our Stream Deck settings as well when it brings up. So let's shrink this a little bit. Now, the one thing I would say about VMix is because of all the scenes and how we have it, the basic VMix would not work because the basic, well, actually, let's just go to it so we can see exactly what we are talking about and our versions. So let's do a comparison table. All right, so the basic, well, the free one you can get, but you can't, the max resolution you can do is at 480 right here. So that's not even HD. So the basic, that's $60. That only gives you 4 inputs and 3 camera inputs. That's not a problem for a camera input because we're doing everything to an ATEM that's coming in, but that's one input. Then we have our music, background music. That's another input. We have our intro and countdown. Actually, the intro screen and the countdown, because we're bringing our countdown in from NDI from our Propresenter system. That's 4. So any of lower thirds for our online giving is gone. Our ending scene is gone. You would have to do something on the fly. So that's why the HD wouldn't work for my current setup. Now, what I have and I use when I do my Q&As is the HD, which says it has 1,000 inputs. I mean, that's really just meant unlimited. You're not going to use that. Your computer will probably cave in before you do that. Then I have 4 overlays. Pretty much almost everything is the same. It's mainly more inputs, but then we also get a video list so we can play multiple videos, kind of like a slideshow and videos. We can have one VMix call, and that's it. That's the benefit. For me, when I do Q&A, that's good for me. Now, the trial version, they give you all the bells and whistles on this. I'm not going to use all that, but just showing you the comparison. And we're not streaming anything higher than 1080p. If you wanted to, it would be $700 and you get this one. Now, what I did originally, I paid $60, and then when I upgraded to this, I only had to pay the difference, so $290. So let you know. And currently I'm using VMix Max, which is the top line of everything, and it's $50 a month. I'm only doing that to demo it, but there's your option. Honestly, after 2 years, you've already paid for this. After 1 year, you've paid half, and then after 2 years, you've paid if you had just bought the Pro straight out. All right. So looking at what we got right now, this is this is an input. That's an input. That's 2. That's the same one that we're already using music. So that's 3, 4. Just by doing that, if we had the basic, we would have used up everything automatically. So just be mindful that I am mainly going for, I'm looking over here because I'm turning my fan on because it's hot with all these lights. But I have the trial that gives me everything. But honestly, if I was going to buy this, I would buy the $350 one. This one right here, which would give me everything that I need for what I would do. All right, so let's look through. We have a scene with technical difficulties, just a video and music, which is this. I think this is the same music. No, this is actually some different music here, but it is from Audio Jungle, so we got a license for that. We have a testing scene, which has music, graphics, and everything like that. I can probably put the text in that combined, but we want to move everything exactly over. So instead of me doing scenes like this, I'm going to have, because we have one for testing and we have one for funerals. That's going to be a completely different document, a whole layout. So we're mainly going to go over starting soon, streaming, which is just the input that's coming from our system, a layer over top with our online giving. Offering, we really don't use that much now, since we have this layer for this. So I'm going to skip the offering one, be right back, and then we have our ending. So that's what we're going to mimic. So first, let's open up VMix here. And like I said, we will have chapters, so you can jump to each one. So this one would say mainly just bringing in the cameras. So I'm actually going to turn the cameras and stuff on at the church so I can have something to connect to. There's what the sound is. All right, so the first thing we want to do is we want to add in, oh, I'm sorry, I forgot this part. We also have the Stream Deck. So here's our profile for all our buttons that goes to every single scene. We want to make it look similar to this in functionality. All right, so we'll come back to that. But let's set up the basics on VMix, which is going to be mainly our camera input. So if I go to it right now, our camera, nobody's in the church, so I just turned everything on. So we want to have mimic this and our starting soon. Starting soon, we have our countdown, which is NDI coming from Propresenter. We have background music, which I need to find the path to. Okay, I see what that is. Our intro video, which I don't know why that's a video. I thought that would just be a image. Oh well. And then the starting image behind it, don't really need that now. So we just got to do 1, 2, 3 inputs for this. So let's go ahead and mimic that. Let's see if we can put these side by side so it'll make it easier to go with. All right, so we want to get, first we want to have that background image, which is a video. So we're going to do an add new input here. Going to add a video, and I believe that is the video right there. Let me make sure. Yeah, pre-live version 6. All right, so good. We got that. Boom. All right, we got that in here right now. Now we're also going to bring in our music here. And audio. I believe that's it. Yep, optimistic and inspiring. Yep. And that's there. Now, well, let's just finish adding the rest of the stuff. See, I'm jumping ahead. let me go ahead and remote into my other system at church, because I need to turn on Propresenter so that we can get the NDI function working. And again, I am using Chrome Remote Desktop. Really awesome tool, completely free. And I'm at home, but I'm able to remote into the stuff at church. So let's give this a second to start up. And the main thing is, this was already set up in a video that I will tag up here how to do this, because in the sanctuary, on the audience displays, the two projectors in the front is actually going to show a graphic with a countdown saying welcome and a countdown for service. In the back, there's a stage display for everybody in the pulpit that shows nothing but the countdown. And then we also have another screen that's sent over NDI, which is just the clock. So if I come over here to our service countdown, see, we have this graphic that's shown in the sanctuary on the front screens. If we go to our stage display, it will, and I actually have the wrong screen selected. Oh, and I picked the wrong one. It would actually say this. That's what's in the back, so everybody would know what the time is. Now, the other screen, which is what I messed up, is actually this one. That is the third screen that is being sent over NDI that we're going to be modifying. All right. So let's go ahead and start our timer. So now we get some numbers. So we're all prepped here. So let's go back now here. And as you can see, there's our NDI feed that's being fed over from Propresenter. So now let's come back over here into VMix, and we're going to add the NDI input that we set up for our countdown timer. So we're going to go here to NDI since it's on. There we go. It's pulling from the other computer. So we're going to pull this in right there. Now we're going to put this as an overlay, which is the same type of concept that it is in OBS. We pick, now this version allows us to have 4 overlays, so you can pick whichever one. You just can't overlay stuff on top of the same thing. So we're going to use this as number 1. All right, now we got a couple of things we got to do with this first. We need to erase the black, and let's color key that. All right, so we got rid of the black, and let's do a little chroma keying there, just to, excuse me, the filter, soften up those edges just a bit. And let's do some anti-aliasing to soften that up. Let's go a little bit higher. It looks kind of blurry, so we go for this. Now you could also do some color correction and change the color if you wanted to. That's up to you. I kind of want to match similar to what I have over here. Almost kind of a goldish type of color. Something like this. Not exactly the same, but it's close enough. All right, now we're going to change the size. Let's zoom it down. And then we want to reposition it about where it is. So pretty close. Because actually the color was the same color as this. But I mean, it stands out, so we're good. So right here, that scene is good. Now we just have to have our music on loop and playing. And now that the same thing that's going right here is what's going here. Now that's our starting soon scene. All right. So now let's glance through this, and I'm getting a GPU overload because I'm running both of these at the same time, which you wouldn't want to do. So let's see. Streaming is simple. The overlay is simple. We're not doing offering. We have be right back, and we have ending. All right, so let's go ahead and close that. I kind of got that on the top of my head. So the next thing we got to do, let's bring in our camera. We're going to bring in our deck link. We have our resolution, and there's our inside the sanctuary. Now, the funny thing about this is because of this version, I could technically control the cameras from here. This is a PTZ Optics camera. And if I can remember what the IP address is, we could connect to that. So there's the IP address for that one. And boom, there we go. We're connected. So yay, see, we can control it. Really cool. But now, granted, if I really wanted to nerd out, I could actually control everything from here, but I'm not going to do that because we have controls, joysticks, and people that are going to be using that. So not that big of a deal. So we got that camera in there, which is also bringing in our audio. So yeah, audio settings is coming from the deck link that's coming from the whole system as well too. So that's good. Audio is good to go. Now, what's the next thing? We have another overlay, which is for our online giving. So that's a video, and actually it's already here. So we would pick that layer, and that's a green screen. So this is going to be another overlay. Now, both of these are not going to go at the same time, so I can set this as the same layer one, overlay one, when I want to use it. But what we're going to do is make sure it's on loop, because it's an actual graphic that plays there. So if I move it over here, see, it would play this at the background. But first we want to do a pure green screen chroma key on here, and I got rid of everything, and then that's all we got to do. So if we brought up this and then we overlay it, boom, now we have the exact same thing. All right, really simple. That part is really simple. All right, so what's the next thing we have? The next thing we have is we want to bring in our, actually we need to turn our audio off right here because we don't need any audio coming in at all right now. Well, actually this is right because that's live. All right, we have our be right back. So we're gonna come in here, be right back. That's actually a GIF which will show up as a video. So we have that image here, which is just kind of like a pause animated type of thing that I have here. Now we want to make sure that's loops. And shows a way to actually make it play just a little bit faster. But I mean, this is fine. It's very rare we actually do this now. We also have another graphic that acts as an overlay for this. This is just the copyright notice that we have. That is green screen as well too. See, this one says live stream will resume soon and all this other stuff. And hopefully I'm not in the way. Just notice that hopefully I'm not in the way from that. All right. So let's scoot this over a little bit. If I was in the way, hopefully that would help. All right, so let's do another color key. Let's get rid of that color in here. Turn on the chroma key filter. Boom, that's good. This is the same music we use here. All right, let's add another one. We're gonna add our image, which is the thanks for. This is what we do at the end that we see here. And we have one more. That was the technical difficulties one. And I don't remember where that video is. And I think that song is different too. All right, so that's footage number 2 from there. So let's add this. footage number 2. There it goes. All right. So that's another one that we will want to loop. And I'm just going to make it simple and use the exact same song for each one. Well, you know what? AJ, add the other one because that's how you have it. So let's add audio here. And I need to pull from where that song is. This is on our network drive. I think it was called LIVESTREAM or something. Don't remember what it was. Oh, it was under Audio Jungle. I said that and completely forgot. All right, so there's our song for when we're having an issue. All right, so that's all the aspects of everything we got. Now we got to build this in scenes. We want this to be when we select this, we want everything to go in the same time, because if we just pick this, nothing happens. We need to build this out. This is with triggers. So we're going to add a trigger on this input. We come here, we click the gear, and then we're going to come here to triggers. So and you have multiple items that you can use, but when we transition this in, this is what we want to happen. When we want this to come in, we want to start overlay number 1 as the NDI. That will add the NDI stuff once this scene is selected. We also want to turn the audio on for our background music when this is on. All right. Let me make sure there's no play. Actually, let's pick audio on for that one. And I might have to switch that around. So first, let's make sure that works. So let's pick something else here. And now, because of that simple trigger, if we switch over, there we go. This got brought in, our audio is on, and boom, there we go. So now we just got to do the opposite, that when anything switches from the scene, we need to turn those things off. So that would be a transition out. We would just do the exact opposite. Overlay number 1 is it's going to now toggle off. All right, so that should be fine. And then also when transition out, we want to do audio off for our inspirational, optimistic music. All right, so now, right now we see that the music is playing. That's the only thing that's going out right now. If we fade, the music is still playing, but it's not going to the master. That's ideal. We want to just pick up the audio that's coming from our deck link, which is live right now. All right. We switch it back again. The audio for this turns on. The audio for this one turns off. This one turns on, as well as our NDI feed. So our scene number 1 of starting soon and streaming is good. Now, let's switch back. The online giving is really simple. We just have to do a pick whichever overlay we want while this is up. Well, actually, it'll work on no matter what scene is up, and then it will just go. So that's good. So nothing really to do with this. Now we're going to do the exact same thing, but we're going to build out the be right back. So what we would do is just, this would be here, and we would add this graphic as an overlay. But this is we need to move this one up. So let's go to the gear here. Let's position this. And we just want to move this up just a little bit so we can see the full graphic and nothing gets cut off. And then we can bring in our audio as well too. So just like we did before, let's do triggers for this. So on transition on, we want to audio on for our optimistic, and our transition in, we also want to do an overlay number 1. Might as well stick with that one, and that is going to be our copyright notice. And then we just undo the same thing. On transition out, we're going to do audio off for the optimistic music, and from transition out, we're going to flip the overlay 1 back off. All right, so now let's test that one. We switch back over to here. Everything is turned off. Fade back on. Video is playing. Music is playing. Notice this again right here. You see that audio off? When this, whatever audio is on, that's what's going to the master. We fade it one more time. You see it cut off. So the be right back one is good too. Let's do our last, well, 2 more. We got our thanks for watching. This is going to be really simple. We're just going to do a on a transition in, we're going to start up our audio music again for the optimistic, but even though this is the end, you also want to make one to turn it off just in case, because somebody might hit this one by mistake. So you need to make sure everything gets turned off as well too. So audio off when it's transitioned out. All right. Now this is another fun one we can do in here too. We can actually do I think there's a timer that I can put in here, but the other thing you could do is you can come in here and say after a certain period of time. Where's it at? We can stop streaming after a certain period of time. So you could add that in there as well too, but I'm not. But just know that you could. All right, so that one is done. So now if we want to merge this one in or fade it in, did I miss something? Hold on. I think I might have missed something here. I think I didn't turn off something. So let's go ahead and just go backtrack, make sure we didn't miss anything. All right, so our layer is on. We're going to switch to service. Our overlay is still on. That needs to be turned off. So what's on overlay? It made the camera overlay? No, that's not right. Let's go back and look at that. Oh, okay, I see. I need to actually change this to an input off. That's what I need to do. There we go. So let's try that now. All right, and then you see it went off. That's right. So I need to change these other ones for that same thing. So that's right here. We're gonna edit that to input 1 off. And then we'll do the same thing for this one. Well, no. Where's the other one? Okay. Yeah, I think we're at now. So we go back here to our first scene. Boom, we got everything on. Our input, our overlay is the countdown clock, because if I turn it off, that's what that is. So this is the beginning of service, countdown. Boom, we fade. We're back here in regular service. Audio is off. The only audio we're getting is from the deck link. Oh, we have online giving. Hey, boom, there we go. Yay, everything is there. We can turn that off. And wait a minute, the praise dancers are back, and they actually want to dance to an actual track that we don't own the rights to. That's why we will bring this up. Boom, our stuff is here. Hey, they're done. They did a great job. Let's switch back to regular service. Everything is shifted off. Wait a minute, we had some technical difficulties. That's the one we did not do. Let's come back in here. Same thing. Transition in. We're going to turn our audio on, and we're going to have that different song. That's our main track here. And then on transition out, audio off for the main track. Really simple. Something happened with we got technical issues. So let's switch over to this. Boom, there we go. That's playing. We didn't play the song. We need to set it as loop. So actually, let's go here and change that. The gear. We need to set this to automatically play with transition. All right, that's fine. Let's make sure we have that on this one too. All right, so we're good. All right, so it's playing. Oh, we got everything fixed. Let's switch back. And there we go. We're back to just audio coming from the deck link. And we're at the end of service. Everything is shut off. We're back to our optimistic music here. And boom, there we go. All right, so that was it. That was the setup. Now, what we would do, let's save this, because this is the scene, how everything was done, but this is more like a document. So I would say Sunday service. That's what I would actually call this, that we can recall this in VMix. All right, so now let's go ahead and now set up all this stuff to be done from the Stream Deck. So let's shrink this a little bit here. All right, so now let's open up our Stream Deck software, and we have our profiles here. We want to make a new profile, and we're going to call this one VMix. And we're going to link it to this application of VMix. So every time this opens, it knows to jump to that application. Now, where was VMix installed? Let's find that real quick. That's not what I was looking for. But, oh well, it'll work. So we'll know that once we bring this program up, the Stream Deck buttons on the console will switch to this. All right, now when you're using this with VMix, it works somewhat the same, but a little bit different. So what we need to do is actually put a shortcut for each button here that VMix can recognize. So what we're going to do is just do a shortcut. So if we look back over here, because we want to mimic the same thing, we have 5 buttons and 1, 2, 6, 8, and then we got everything down here. All right, so we want to mimic that type of layout. So we have pre-service, streaming. Let's go back and look at it again, or ATEM. Offering we're not going to do, but we're going to just put it there anyway. Offering, and I'll explain this later. Be right back. And ending. I'm not going to do online. Well, yeah, online giving. I'm actually going to replace service stream. Actually, this is different. That's not a VMix button at all. This is a web page. So I'm actually going to paste that there. Go live, technical issues, recording. So we're going to take these 3. Do that as well too. So 1, 2, 3. Now you can give it a name. if you want. Say not to go live, set that at 11. Did I spell it right? All right, let's shrink that text down. Well, how about we just say technical issues? How about that? So it can fit. All right, so here we have pre-live. This is ATEM. This is giving, which is just a overlay now on OBS as well as how we're doing it here. This is Be Right Back. Different from technical difficulties. And then here we have ending. And I'm going to come back and change the icons on this to match, but I want you to get the idea. These buttons, these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, are the only ones that will register with VMix. Right now, I think the issue with this is there's no way for me to press these buttons so they can register. I didn't do the other benefit of what I wanted to do, why I was going with this. We also have VMix Social. Everybody always asks me, how do I bring in comments and everything like that into our stream? It's by doing this. So one other thing we need to do is add a new input, and we're going to go to titles. And I like picking social because they're kind of formatted this way. And you can pick whichever one that you want. And based on my layout, I need something that's kind of small and up and out of the way. So I am most likely going to go with this one. So there's our title there. And now what I need to do is change our message size a little bit bigger, from username source. Oh, that's fine. So we ain't got to worry about that. What we're going to do is let's change the size of this position, because I want this to be right up under here and up out of the way. So I want to be able to see everything. And maybe I need to change this because I didn't notice that little square there. So let's go ahead and change this to a different one. Social. I kind of want to have people's picture show up when they say something. So let's try this one. Yeah, something like that. So let's position this one. Let's change the size. Let's drop it down. So it's not in the way. We got a whole bunch of extra space, so that's not going to be a problem. So boom, there we go. So now what we're going to do is we stream to Facebook and YouTube. I'm not going to be able to do this now, but I would just click here and link this to when we go live, link it to the post of our live stream, and now I can pull in comments and they will be listed there. I would do the same thing in YouTube, and then when it's done on any of the computers, it will show me the list of people. Now, just to stop hecklers, what I'm going to do is only cycle through items that are queued for right now. So what that is going to do is, if I have people listed here, I would have to right click on them and they will be entered into the queue. So that's your second phase of, like, if somebody's saying some silly stuff, you can ship it over to them, and those are the only ones that are going to cycle. Now, how I'm going to do that is during this countdown, I'm going to just let people's comments go on the fly. Now, I also could actually have moved this up here. I think I might do that. I'm sorry, I'm going back and forth. Because again, this is the main reason why I wanted to do this, is to just have a different form of engagement with people who are on our live stream. So let's see, can we put this back to our original size? But we're going to move it up here to the top, something like this. Let's make sure our message size is still big enough for people to read. Let's set it at 40. All right, so that will pop up, and when somebody hits it, it'll be animated like that, and people can see their comments. So I want to see how this is received on Sunday. And again, all of these, just like I do on my Q&A, I'm gonna let these automatically cycle, but then during service, the only people who are going to see this are in the live stream. I can bring up the box, and I'll probably need to move it. See, now thinking ahead, this is the reason why I actually placed it at the bottom, because you don't want it to be in the way when people are talking. So putting it down here still works. And you probably could make it smaller if you wanted to move it over to the right or to the left or something like that. But again, I think really excited about getting a different form of interaction with people that are there, because then they'll be like, oh, man, my comment was actually showing up on there. So I think that would be kind of cool. And the good thing is we're recording this outside of this. So the comments are going to be embedded in the live stream, but we're going to go back to editing the video. So yeah, you'll see a comment if you watch the live stream, but we'll edit the sermon and everything else to all these graphics are not included. That's only for the live stream. We're recording everything before it gets to here. Since I couldn't set this up at church, I downloaded everything that we did at my church and have it here, where I do have a stream deck and we have everything set up. So what we're going to do is, back on our desktop here, we're going to come in here and we're going to, and I'm going to super source these together so you can actually see both at the same time. We're going to come in here to our settings, and then we're going to go to shortcuts. And what we're going to do now is assign a button to each one of these tasks. Again, we have the names that we have. I'm going to change the icons to be exactly the same, but that's nothing compared to this. So let's go ahead and have this go to add. And now the buttons that we press on the stream deck are only going to be responsive to where you see the VMix shortcut is. So for example, if I click here on the screen and click find, and I press any button that's not one of the VMix set ones, nothing happens. That's why that is so important. So I'm going to set this to pre-service, and you see it picks up. And now the function is going to be fade. And then we have to select our input, which is going to be the pre-service video, which does not exist on this computer, but the tasks are exactly the same. All right. I guess I should download the video so you can see all of it move. But let's assign the buttons, and then I'll download everything so we can see it function before we test them out. All right. So now by pressing that button, everything will happen. So let's go through and do the exact same thing for all the other ones here. The next one we have is when the service is actually going. That will be when we link over to the ATEM, find, second button, ATEM there. What's the function? We're going to fade over to input, which is our deck link. All right. Then we're just literally just going to rinse and repeat. The next one is going to be our online giving. So let's find the button for that right there. Now the function for this is actually going to be the overlay of number 1. And then that's where we're going to bring in the ways to give background. That will be over top of anything we press that button for. All right. Now, what's the next one we got? We did online giving. We need be right back. Next button. Function is fade. And then be right back. And all the triggers are built into this. So once we hit this button, everything else is going to kick in. What else we got? Next, we got ending. Find end button. Fade. Input is going to be our thanks for watching. All right. And we also have a technical difficulties one. That is going to be, instead of a fade, that's going to be a straight cut because we need that to be fast. And we're going to go to our footage 2. That's our technical difficulties one. What else we got? We got our thanks. We got that. Now, we need to make one for our ultimately kill any comments that show up. And I need to make a new button for that one. So I'll say call this one clear comments. So now that button is going to be available, which I need to do at church. Find, boom. Now that button is showing up. Now this is going to be overlay on input number 2. And this is always going to be a input off for 2. Because we want to just turn that off no matter what, because our VMix social is set up to always bring up our comments on overlay 2. This button is just going to clear whatever is on there. I mean, actually, let's toggle that instead. So if it's on, if we hit it, it'll turn it off. If it's off and we hit it, it'll turn it on. All right. Now we still have the 2 other buttons. Now, technically, we don't need record because we're recording in our hyperdeck. So I'm just going to do the go live one because that's the one we actually do use. And we're going to go down to output and we're going to do a start streaming. Now I want to test this. Optional stream number starting from 0. Since we only have one, I think that should work. Actually, let's change it to start streaming. Because if you hit it and it's off, it'll start. If you hit it and it's started, it should stop. All right. So there we go. So there are our buttons set up. All right, so here we go. I got everything downloaded here, and let's go ahead and test everything out. The ATEM will not work because I don't have a deck link here, so I'm actually gonna have a loop of a loop going on in here. Well, actually, no, I'm not going to do that because that's going to make this get all crazy and out of control. I don't have an NDI source because, again, that's Propresenter. Don't have that here. But all the other basic functions will work. So if we hit online, well, actually, let's hit ATEM. And you know what? That shows me right there. I need to add another trigger to completely clear all of our comments. But if we hit this one button here, our comments are gone. Let's test that again. So we're getting music. And I'm actually going to turn that down. I'm actually going to turn that down there. So we're getting our music, and yeah, I was going to say, I don't understand why that was a video. But anyway, we got that going and everything is looped. Now we would go to our ATEM, which would be our deck link, but we don't have one. And online giving, is just layering this over top of our video, which is cool. Now we turn that off. Now, by me doing this, the other thing I sit back and think about, we need to do a clear all on everything. So like, because if we had online giving here and if we went to Be Right Back, the only reason this works is because we're overriding the overlay 1. But say we're here and we actually have a comment up. And we have this comment up. And if we go to Be Right Back, and I thought, oh, I'm sorry, I did this wrong. Let's go back here. And we bring the comment up on layer 2, overlay 2. If we go to Be Right Back, see, this stays here. We need to do a clear all for everything, but that's why it's good that we do have that button here that will clear that. All right. So a bunch of other things we need to clear out with our buttons here. I think that clear all button is doing more than it should. Okay. So I think what we need to do here is switch this back to, let's do a input to off. So now let's go back here again, go to the beginning. This is how everything would be set up. Go to the ATEM. Oh, we want to bring up comments here. Boom. Now this one, we will just hit the clear button now, which just turns that off. And maybe out would make it do a transition better. Let's do an input to out. I think that would just do the animation of getting rid of it. So now, see how you it animated in, and then we press it, and it animates out. So I like that a lot better. So that's good. So now we'll go back to our Be Right Back. All right. Then we switch back to our ATEM. Say if we had service. And maybe I should hook a camera up. Maybe that would be easier. All right, so let's go ahead and change this to this little webcam I hooked up here. Hopefully that will let me do something here. But again, this is, there we go. All right, so now we have something to sample here. So let's go back to our pre-service. Boom, this is going on. And we go over to the ATEM. Hey, we're in service. We want to do online giving. Hit this. Now we have our lower third graphic here that's superimposed on top of everything else. We can hit this again to turn that off if we ever wanted to. We have Be Right Back. Oh, the praise dancers are about ready to dance and sing to a track we don't own. They hit this. Boom, all of the audio is killed. The only audio that's coming in is coming from the music that's being played. Let's go back to regular service. Hey, we're back. They're all done. Hey, I want to thank y'all. Oh, wait a minute. We're having some technical issues. Boom. And I need to find where that song is so I can turn it down. All right, so obviously that works. Hey, technical difficulties are over. Boom, we're back. And we want to say service is over. We hit ending. And there we go. Now, the only thing I did not test is the streaming. And it actually is linked to this. If I hit go live, I'm going to hit it and turn it off very, very quickly. Nothing. So let's verify that one. Oh, it actually did. I hit it too fast. But it actually started streaming everything, which is not good. So I think that button actually will work. I just had too much stuff on my version left over. So if we hit start, all right, it starts the streaming, then it stops. So yay, it's good. Doesn't go as fast as I thought it was going to be, but made a couple of issues there. So now that I've made these adjustments, I'm going to actually download and upload these back to the church computer to make some adjustments there. I think that's about it. So if you have any other questions, please let me know down below. And if you like this type of content, I appreciate it. Consider subscribing and hit that bell. That way you get notified when we come out with other videos to help modernize your media ministry. I want to thank the patrons and the YouTube members for making this video possible. Their names on the screen right now. And you too can become a patron for as little as $1 a month, or you can become a YouTube member by clicking the join button down below. No matter which way you pick, folks, you are helping us train and empower media ministries all over the world. Thanks for watching, folks. This is AJ, and we will see you on the next video. Later.